Alrighty, welcome back into another episode of Getting Technical, brought to you by Better and Green. I am Ethan. With me, as always, is Wyatt. Wyatt, off another impressive day yesterday. How you feeling? I know you gave out some overtime props on the show yesterday. One of them may or may not have gotten there for you. How you feeling after another nice day in college hoops?
Feeling great. My only loss was one of the OT props. The other one did hit plus 1260 on that bad boy. If you wanted to take all three overtime props in the three games we played, two of them went to overtime. Just the one went to OT that I didn't bet. But I went 4-1 on my bets in college basketball. Technically 5-1, but 4-1 on the show. I added Arkansas late yesterday on the money line outright as a dog. Crazy ending of that game. Blew a 16-point lead at half, ended up having a buzzer beater to win the game. Unreal day. Feels really good. I was really seeing it yesterday, and it paid off. However, today, I'm not seeing as well as yesterday. And just for my history of betting, every time I have a good day, it seems like I have like 3 or 4 bad days in a row. So maybe I broke the streak because, again, I had a great Monday betting and a great Tuesday. So I'm fingers crossed. I'm going to try to go a smaller board today, not get overwhelmed. I'm not in love with these games that we're about to talk about. I'm excited to watch them. I don't know if I have these ones pegged yet.
Yeah, I know yesterday we were both on Cincinnati, both on Kansas State, both got it done in overtime. So definitely a sweat there, but profitable show for those who watched yesterday. So hopefully we can do it again for you here. Also, I really want to start jumping on, tailing all your plays since you're on fire right now, but I know I'm just a complete mush, and you will go like, in the next 30. So I won't do that to you. It might not be good for you if we're seeing eye to eye today, but we'll see how these games go. 2 nice ranked matchups tonight, and then another one that kind of follows our system that we like to talk about. We're starting off tonight, 18th Creighton at first ranked UConn, followed by 22nd ranked Ole Miss at unranked LSU, and then we'll cap it off with 25th ranked Texas Tech at 5th ranked Houston. So for that first game, 7 o'clock Eastern start time here, Big East battle. Creighton heads to UConn, who has jumped Purdue for the best team in the nation. UConn, a 6.5 point home favorite, over under 144.5. Don't love this game. I'm going to throw it to you first. See what you're breaking down in this one.
Yeah, I don't love it either. As you said, UConn's number 1 now. I usually like fading a team that just entered the rankings, or not enter the rankings, but this jumped to that number 1 spot. But UConn's legit. I've been on them all year. I think they're the best team in the country. I really like them to win it all. Them and Purdue. It's pretty square, but just really like Purdue or UConn to repeat. But Creighton's also been kind of that sneaky team. They were that Final Four last year, had a rough start, losing to Colorado State, UNLV, Villanova kind of quickly in there. They did have a semi-okay loss to Marquette. Big wins for Creighton against Alabama, St. John's, Iowa. UConn, on the other hand, tough loss against Kansas. That was a well-fought game. A weird loss against Seton Hall, but Seton Hall has kind of been on a streak. And then big wins over Texas, North Carolina, and Xavier. So both these teams are, I think, phenomenal. The thing that's kind of scaring me off of UConn is, first of all, it's extremely public bet tonight. We talk about how important home court advantage is, especially in college basketball. And to see that the spread, and I know these are 2 ranked teams, but to see the spread's only 6.5 really worries me. It seems very obvious to take UConn on the 6.5. It's a small spread for a home team, 9-0 at home, number 1 in the country against, I don't know. I was expecting this to be closer to 9 to 12 points on the spread. So the fact that it's 6 and extremely public, I am leaning Creighton in this game at the +6, +6.5. Also, a prop I'm debating on taking is Creighton's team total over 68.5 in this game. Either Creighton's going to get blown out or they are going to battle in this game. So I'm going to go with them battling. I like their offense. They do have the 24th ranked offense. UConn has a 45th ranked defense, so they have a little advantage there. UConn, again, number 3 offense in the country. They are legit on the offensive side, but Creighton has a 12th ranked defense. So I do think it's going to be a back and forth game. Both these teams are, I think, UConn's number 1 and Creighton's number 2 in 2-point field goal percentage. So just a lot of close shots, a lot of points in the paint. I think this is going to be a grueling back and forth game. So I'm going to take Creighton the +6, and I might sprinkle in their team total going over 69 points as well.
Yeah, I like Creighton as well in this game. You touched on a lot of the points that I wanted to touch on, but my main thing here is that UConn is the 1 seed now, and like you mentioned, they're freshly the 1 seed. So I think that kind of just puts a target on their back. Everyone wants to go beat the 1 seed. Not only that, but I feel like every year around this time, you get that 1 seed losing every week, and we just cycle through multiple 1 seeds until one finally puts together a little bit of a run down the year. So I could definitely see Creighton even winning outright here. I think it's worth a sprinkle. These games are always close. The Big East is always just kind of a gauntlet. They just eat each other throughout conference play. So, yeah, I think Creighton plus the points is probably the play here, which it is scary because UConn is so good, but Creighton also does have that blowout potential. So, yeah, I just think 6.5 is just a few too many for Creighton here. One thing I will say, I think the next game after this one for both teams is a major fade spot on both teams. Creighton has to travel to Seton Hall. Like you said, Seton Hall has been putting together a little streak. They've been looking really good. I've watched probably the last 3 games, I think. Pretty impressed with Seton Hall. So I think that's going to be a nice play on Seton Hall there. And then UConn travels to Villanova, who has a bit of a down year, but they're still a pretty good squad. I think both teams could get caught in that game after this one. But yeah, for this one, I have not bet it yet. Don't know if I will get to the window with Creighton, but that is my lean on Creighton plus the points. Think they could win this one outright.
Yeah, and again, it doesn't make any sense. And usually, I'm a big fan of betting the home team, but you would think with number 1 at home, that's a 6.5-point spread. That's so obvious to take the spread, in my opinion. Also, super obvious to take UConn on the money line for a couple parlay legs. I know they're only like minus 200 something. Yeah, I'm going to definitely stay away from that money line. Don't think that's a free money line in your parlay ads. So I would definitely give warning if you're going to take money line there. I would highly suggest staying away from that.
Yeah. Next game on the board, another 7 o'clock Eastern start. So same tip as the first game we talked on. This is 22nd ranked Ole Miss heading to unranked LSU. SEC battle here. LSU 3-point home favorite. The unranked versus the ranked, over under 150.5. I'll start with this one. I've already bet LSU on the money line. I got it last night minus 140. Thought that was a pretty good price. Thought money would probably keep pouring in on LSU because this has become a pretty public opinion, I think, the unranked home teams. The spread was 3 last night. It stays at 3. I'm seeing money line around minus 155. So at this point, I'd probably lay the 3. You could take the 155, but yeah, I just think this is a focus spot for LSU. They're off the loss to 16th ranked Auburn. They're back home now, get to avenge that ranked loss with another ranked team. Think they can take advantage. I'm not too impressed by Ole Miss, even though they do only have that one loss. Their one loss was to Tennessee, and that's the only ranked team that they've played all year. They have a ranked matchup on deck against Auburn, who LSU just beat. Auburn now up to 13th in the country. And I think that's just a big game for Ole Miss. They're 0-1 against ranked opponents, and they're undefeated against non-ranked. So I think they really just want that first ranked win. I think there's a look-ahead spot. I think they can just kind of overlook LSU in this game. Don't think it's going to be that easy. LSU, the home squad here, with more to play for. Their season hasn't gone how they'd hoped. They're 10-6 right now, which is 5th in the SEC. So this is a huge opportunity for LSU to pick up that ranked win, move themselves into a more comfortable standing in the SEC, and give themselves a chance for a playoff run. So, yeah, I like LSU at home. Again, I have the money line minus 140. Think at this point, if you can find 140, 145, I'd lay it. Other than that, maybe 2.5, 3 if you can find it. But yeah, I think LSU kind of rolls in this game.
Yeah, this one, I don't know. I can't get a read on Ole Miss. As you said, really haven't played a super tough schedule. Their one ranked team was against Tennessee, where I believe they lost by 20 plus points. Tennessee dropped 90 on them. I believe Ole Miss I think it was like 68-90, something like that. They have 3 wins against relatively okay opponents: NC State, Memphis, and Florida. Nothing spectacular on their resume. And then you go over to LSU. LSU 10-6, not their best year. The one thing that's very concerning to me is LSU's they've really only played one tough game at home against a tough opponent, and that was Kansas State, and they lost by 15 points. They then also lost to a Nicholls State at home by 2 points. So a terrible home loss there. And usually you just don't see these teams losing to these crappy opponents, unless they're Michigan at home. So they're 7-2 at home. I'm going to take a shot on Ole Miss +3, and I hate it because I know you already bet that, but I don't know. I'm not super impressed with LSU, especially at home. The 15-point loss to the only team in the top 50, which was Kansas State, and then a loss at home as well to Nicholls State. Ole Miss, I think, is kind of playing that team as that disrespected team a little bit, rightfully so. Again, they really haven't played anyone. The one team they played, they got murdered by. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get there on Ole Miss, but that's my lean. I may instead of betting against you, I may just take the over here thought process in this one. I think it's going to be a competitive back and forth game. If Ole Miss happens, and LSU is not terrible, they're top 60, I think, top 65 according to Ken Pom. If LSU just decides to blow them out, that should get over 150, just like that Tennessee game with Ole Miss where they lost 90-68, something like that. So I think there's value on the over in this game. I think Ole Miss is offense will be able to put up some points. And then Ole Miss's defense is pretty trash, but unfortunately LSU's offense isn't great either. But I like the over, and I'll probably lean the Ole Miss +3. I know it goes against our system and everything it stands for, so I probably won't play it, but that's the lean as of now.
Yeah, I'm shocked you're going against the system, but
and I know. Both teams don't have great schedules, and I just got really thrown off by LSU's one tough team at home. They lost by 15. That one's scary, which was recently as well. So
yeah,
I don't know. That's my lean. Again, I'm probably not going to play because I know if I do play something, it's going to lose just because, again, I had a hot day yesterday. But, yeah, I'm going to stay away. I'm just going to say I'm going to stay away from it. But if Ole Miss covers, that was me.
Yeah. Remember last year where it was so easy? You could just take money line for like all these unranked home teams. Now last night New Mexico was a 6-point unranked home favorite, which they won by 13, but that price scared me away. So kind of missed when it was
they were up by like 25 at one point in that game.
They were. I know. I was looking to get involved live and never got a chance. But all right, we'll wrap it up with another Big 12 matchup here, 9:00 Eastern tip time. 25th ranked Texas Tech at 5th ranked Houston. Houston on a bit of a downswing here. Not sure if they can hang with the Big 12 we're kind of seeing, but I will throw this to you first. Houston, a 13-point home favorite in a ranked matchup, kind of an alarming spread, over under 129.5. You don't often see a spread like that and a total like that with two ranked teams. It's usually if one team is quite a bit better. Yeah, kind of a weird total to pair with a 13-point favorite, but I'm going to give this one to you. I don't love this game. How are you breaking this one down?
Yeah, so I think the thought process on the spread being 13 freaking points is Houston's off of 2 away losses back-to-back, which is kind of unheard of for Houston. They're back at home tonight against Texas Tech, who just climbed into the rankings here. So I think everyone's expecting a massive Houston bounce back, which I haven't really looked at where the betting splits are for this, but I would assume most of them are probably on Houston in this game. They are expecting a bounce back. Texas Tech, I just don't think is that great. They're coming off a big win against Kansas State. They have beat Texas at Texas, but that's, a huge in-state rivalry. I can see why they got up for that game. They beat Michigan, who's frauds. They lost to Villanova and Butler. And as I said, Houston coming off 2 back-to-back losses at Iowa State and at TCU, 2 ranked teams. So it's not the end of the world for them. A couple big wins against Utah, who's actually not bad, Dayton, Xavier, and Texas A&M. I first and foremost think that this is going to be an extremely low-scoring game. So I really like Texas Tech's team total under 57.5. I think Houston's defense is going to absolutely shut them down. They're the number 1 defense, according to Ken Pom, on efficiency. So I think they're going to absolutely shut down Texas Tech. However, I just have a hard time seeing Houston just being this miraculously turned around team now that they lost 2 in a row. So I'm also going to take the total under in this game at 129.5. And because I'm so high on the under and in the low scoring game, I'm going to have to take Texas Tech at the +13. I think this game honestly is going to end up like 69-55. Well, that would not 58-69. Give me that. I don't know. I think it's going to be right around a 10-point game, super low scoring. I don't think either team's going to get in the 70s. So I'm going to take the under, Texas Tech team totals under, and Texas Tech on the spread.
Yeah, actually, I kind of lean the over in this game. Just a lean. I think Texas Tech offense is going to be able to put up some points. I think Houston, obviously being a 13-point favorite, is probably going to lead the way. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't really handicap totals in college basketball that much. So that's just a gut feeling lean there. Won't be playing the total, but I also like Texas Tech plus the points. And for a lot of what you said, I mean, everyone just expects a big bounce back game for Houston. We're used to seeing Houston losing like 2 games a season rather than 2 games back to back.
Right.
But that's because they were in the AAC, I think, last year. And this year they're in the Big 12. So we're not going to see the Houston team that just rolls over everybody, rolls over the conference, gets the conference championship win, and then is a 1 or 2 seed in the tournament this year. It's just a lot tougher competition for Houston. So I don't think it's going to be that easy to roll over Texas Tech like people are thinking. I think Texas Tech is kind of out to get Houston. I feel like the old school Big 12 teams are kind of, I don't know, you want to beat that newcomer. You want to welcome them in with a loss. So I think it's a big game for Texas Tech. Not only that, but Texas Tech, this is the first ranked matchup of 4 in a row. They have Houston, BYU, Oklahoma, TCU, all back to back to back to back. So I think they want to get off on the right foot here. Definitely don't want to get blown out by Houston. I think that would kind of be a shot to their ego. So I do think 13 is just too many points in this one. I do think Houston pulls out the win off those 2 losses. It's tough to see them losing 3 in a row, but I think it's going to be closer than 13 points. I do like Texas Tech. Again, just not sure if I can bet it. I could see Houston rolling in this one. I also do like to fade the teams that just make it into the rankings like Texas Tech just did. Like I mentioned with the 1 seed where we see a lot of teams cycling in and out this time of year. I feel like we also get that with like the 22nd through 25th where the teams that get ranked 1 week then fall out the next because they have a loss. So I think that probably ends up happening to Texas Tech here. I just don't think it's in blowout fashion. So I do lean Texas Tech plus the points.
Yeah. It's going to be a good game. I'm excited for it. I'm glad you mentioned Texas Tech's upcoming schedule because I was going to mention that as well. But I do have to remember it's the Big 12. These guys play so many ranked games, but they do have a gauntlet upcoming. And then they do have Cincinnati, the 5th game on there, and then Baylor. So technically they could have 6 ranked games in a row.
Right.
Yeah, but I liked what you said. I think Texas Tech is kind of understanding that they are on a gauntlet. I mean, the Big 12 is one of the toughest conferences, the deepest conference, in my opinion, in college basketball. So I think they might have a different mindset coming into this and just saying, F it. Like, let's just, yeah. So the more I'm talking about it, the more I do like the plus 13 in this. I'll probably stay away from the under now. I did really like what you said about they're just coming in kind of with an attitude. So I'll take the plus 13, X through the under and the team total under. But I do like the 13.
Yeah, I have not bet this game yet, but the more we talk about it, the more it does seem appetizing. Yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it for the 3 games today. Like I said, my one bet that I have placed already, LSU on the money line, minus 140. 2 more plays I really do like. I love Northwestern minus the points. I took a minus 3.5. I think it is 4.5 now. I still like it. Tough spot for Maryland here. Bounce back from Northwestern, and ultimately Northwestern's a way better Big Ten team. I also like Oklahoma minus the points and a big blowout win here. Oklahoma's minus 12.5. So those are 2 plays I've also played. Why did you have any other games you wanted to quick touch on?
There's one that's almost identical to Creighton, UConn, and that is Mississippi State versus Kentucky. Kentucky is ranked. Kentucky's at home, same spread, 6.5 points. So I would be very cautious taking either UConn or Kentucky, especially on the money line. 2 fishy lines. Both teams should be close to double-digit favorites, and they're not. So I would just be cautious with those 2 plays.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's going to be a ton of money line parlays coming in tonight that are going to have UConn, Kentucky, Houston, some of the other home ranked teams. So very good point there. Wouldn't be shocked whatsoever if Kentucky or UConn lose. I'd almost call for at least one of them losing tonight. So great point. Other than that, guys, like I said, we do have multiple plays that have been released or will be released. So follow us on Twitter to get all those plays for free. Other than that, we are filming our divisional round NFL show tonight. That will come out tomorrow. So be sure to check that out if you are interested in NFL plays. We will have a hockey show coming out here in the coming weeks, finalizing the format of that. So if you're a hockey fan, be on the lookout for that. Head over to bettergreen.com. Check out all of our articles where we do have some premium plays and other great premium content. If you want to become a premium member, consider subscribing to us for just $1 per month. It's as cheap as it can get. And you get some really great content and some extra plays that we're putting big money on. So consider checking us out there. And guys, we'll see you in the next episode.
You better start listening to the Better and Green podcast. You will not regret it. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And hey, I'm Dean Blandino.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? To Better and Green, eh? Listen in and cash out. That's what it's all about. Come on, let's make cash now. We always on spot and we cover all spot from the bottom to the top. Hey, shout out to Ethan, shout out to Wyatt, shout out to Ben. Welcome, welcome to our podcast. Better and Green.